what we have here, okay, with the makeup is atoms and molecules. You're going to hear, these are two key things you got to understand with chemistry, because we're on a sub microscopic level. Okay, we're on a tiny scale, because that's how we have to think about chemistry, right? Majority of the things that we're about to start talking about, we can't necessarily see with our eyes. Okay, we got to get either some type of microscope to look at these things, or yeah, we just may not be able to see it because they're just literally so small. So let's talk about these small particles here, atoms and molecules. Okay, so let's talk about atoms first. Atoms are a sub-microscopic, okay, so basically a very small thing, super small, tiny, are a particle that are the fundamental building blocks of matter. There goes that word again, matter, right? So basically, matter is composed of atoms, okay? And once again, matter has these small atoms. Okay, and once again, say with me now, before we get to matter, we need to think, before I could talk about matter, we need to understand what is it made of. Okay, we building our way up there. Okay, we getting there, because we understand chemistry is the study of matter. Okay, but then we got atoms, and atoms is matter. Okay, so, but what exactly is matter? We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Now, molecules. Molecules are made up of two or more atoms. Okay. And these things are going to be bonded together. Okay, they're bonded together. So let's talk about a water molecule. Water molecule, we probably heard before, H2O. Okay, H2O means that, right, we have H2, which is two hydrogens, and the O means that we have one oxygen. Okay, so far, right, we're talking about atoms here. So with H2O, that means that we have two hydrogen atoms bound to, because this is a water molecule, bound to one oxygen atom. Okay, and this is H2O. Okay, so these are probably some things that you probably heard of. Perfectly fine. Okay, perfectly fine. We're just trying to make sure we understand, right, the composition of matter, which is composed of atoms and molecules. Okay, because that's all we're about to be looking at, these atoms and molecules. Now, let's take that a step further. So y'all remember this definition that we was talking about, right? Chemistry, Webster defines it as a science that deals with the composition, the structure, and the properties of a substance with the transformations that they undergo. So far, right, we talked about the composition. It's made up of atoms and molecules. Let's talk about the structure, okay? Because once again, this is chemistry. This is all things comprised of chemistry, because we got to understand the basics. This is what we're going to be learning throughout this class. We're talking about the composition, atoms and molecules, and now the way things are structured. Because the way things are structured impacts that substance, that material, right? So still focusing, right, on this very small level, okay? The way that a material is structured can definitely impact its properties. That's something that we need to understand. The way that these atoms and molecules come together, the way they're structured, will impact the properties. In fact, they'll impact the properties so much that it's going to change it on a macroscopic level. So when I'm talking about macroscopic, that's basically the level that we can see, right? The big level. We got the micro, very small, we really can't see. And then we got the macro, the ones that we can see, right? So let's look at two materials that we deal with on a daily, right? We got this pencil lead, graphite, okay? Anybody use mechanical pencils? Probably seen that in there. And then we got diamonds, right? Diamonds are forever. Shout out to Kanye, man. Shout out to Kanye. All right, but yeah, so we got graphite and diamond. Graphite and diamond. Now, how are these two things even related? Did you know that graphite and diamond are made of the same atoms? Because we just talked about what things are being composed of, right? So we got to think of everything. So this material is composed of the same atoms. But Dr. J, if they're composed of the same atoms, why are they not the same? Why is graphite not the same as diamond? Well, what comes into play here is structure. Okay, structure is key, right? So if we think about structure, let's look at here. Love this graph because it breaks it down as far as how they are structured. We're going to see that this graphite, even though it has carbon, they're bound, it's just made of a carbon atoms. That's all graphite is. Look at how they're structured, right? They're in this planar type of setting to where, it's bound like here, bound right here, bound right here. All right, so this structure of graphite is set like this. All right, it's set in this particular way. But if I go over to diamond, look how diamond is. Diamond is more tied in, it's more complex, it's more together. Look at the structure for a diamond. Very compact. Right? And because of these differences in the way they're structured, it's going to impact the properties, right? So if we look over here, graphite, we know graphite is easy to break. Anybody mess with a mechanical pencil, you write a little bit too hard, it breaks easily. And that's due to the way that these carbon atoms are structured, easily to break. But if we look at the way diamond is, right, hard, solid, can't really break that stuff, right? And that's due to, look how close and compact this structure is. Solid. Bam. And, because it's this solid structure, diamonds are very hard, right? They got those hard properties. They're not going to break easily like these graphite, okay? But they're made of the same thing, carbon, okay? And that's what we got to start thinking about, things around us, right? So that's the key thing, right? When we're talking about atoms and molecules, right? We're looking at the composition of your substance, but also you got to pay attention to the structure, okay?